I'm Kris Cuaresma for at Unified Pro-Am, and we're going one-on-one with at Matt Morg _ team coordinator for Hawks Talon GC. What's good, man? Thank you for coming on to the show, Matt.
What's going on, Chris? Is happy to catch up with you and talk to you again, man. It's been a minute.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm not sure if you know, but we just had Udini in the other day to talk everything Wizards DG, UPA Vegas. But I'm just as excited to talk to you today because throughout the course of pre-draft, we're hoping to bring in several different scouts, analysts, representatives, what have you, to help out the community. This is such an exciting time for prospects and fans of the Pro-Am scene. And we're excited to have guests in like you, Matt, to help kind of steer the ship in the right direction. So thank you again. Let's get things started. But before we talk about the community, man, let's shine a little bit of a spotlight on you, Matt. For those who aren't familiar with your story, let's just talk about how the Hawks Talon GC opportunity came about.
Well, first, I don't know how I can follow up almost a $500,000 man in Nudini, not to count his pockets, that champion. So I don't know if you could be as excited to talk to me than talk to that champion. Like I got some big shoes to follow up.
Fair
I'm
enough.
probably already defeated with that. I don't know how I got set up with that follow. But man, I've been around the community for a long time. I've probably been in this for about 6 years, or essentially when it started, man. I was around in 2K17 playing with big names and against them, competing because I first tried to apply myself as a player. But in my age, I felt I was late, joining that way as a player. As far as these kids now, like we're waiting on some people to become eligible to, enter the draft class and stuff like that. And some of those are the best players. So I joined along that late. And so I've been around for about 6 years playing. And then as of age, I got older and older, realizing that playing at my age and stuff like that, especially in the off season, is taxing for an older guy with a lot of responsibilities and stuff like that. So I
Mhm.
committed myself more to watching, even though it was part of my routine of playing of how much film I watched. So I had talks with great guys like Famous, Jelani, 2K Comp Games, people like that. And they basically told me, Matt, what do you want to do? Like, do you want to scout or do you want to play? You can't really divide your time 80-20, 50-50. You got to commit to something. And I looked at myself, I looked at my surroundings, and I looked at what I liked more, and just the age I'm getting at. And I feel like, especially in this community, I can help a lot of younger people that probably haven't been through things I've been through in life or on the game, as far as just guiding them. So I dedicated about a year or two to scouting and to analyzing and joining shows like this and talking to people about their game, and going on the plank and making crazy takes and getting that Yadar feedback and stuff like that. So I know what them guys are going through. So just off that work and off, getting the backlash of takes and stuff like that.
Right.
Obviously, people are going to hear about you. Some might respect you, some might not. And one day, I just got a call from an area code that I didn't know, and it was Wes. It was Atlanta, and he told me some peers of mine referenced me. Shout out to G Star and a couple others that just referenced me because they noticed my work and they noticed what I do, and so me and Wes talked, had a real honest conversation. About just understanding each other and what we want to do and stuff like that. And I found out he's where I'm from, Michigan, Detroit, but Lansing, but pretty close. So the personalities and the things he talked about and the way we talked to each other was just a good fit on understanding instantly without really getting to know each other, because I already knew where he came from.
Mhm.
So we felt like it was a good fit. And he was like, Matt, I think I want to do this. I think this is a great connection. And he gave me the opportunity to get my foot in the door as a first league associate, you could say.
That's awesome. And it's cool kind of hearing those stories because you if you understand how it all works, anybody for the most part who's working in a position like yours, there's the grind that happens before that. But just to kind of hear it being laid out by you is so cool. I was gonna ask you where you're from, but then I remembered Michigan's in your email on your Twitter profile. What position did you play back in the day then?
I played power forward and lock. That's really where I got praise from, or played with a lot of big names, or impacted the game against other players and stuff like that. So I did that, and yeah, the payoff, man. Like every day, you might not see the reward, but then there'll be that one day that the reward's worth it, like a call or something like that. So it's definitely a grind, and you don't see the rewards every day. But
Mhm.
once you do get that big one, it's definitely worth everything you put in.
For sure. Just kind of staying on the Hawks here, I'd assume, right, on the outside looking in, I'd assume the job that you have is everything that you imagined it would be. How fun has it been working with Coach Wes and the Hawks Talon org in general?
It's been good, man. It's been a lot of laughs, shoot, a lot of pain, and honestly a lot of disagreements as far as like one fit why me and Wes work, because we're from the same place, and the reason he liked me and where we're from, we're not gonna sugarcoat anything.
Right,
Like I'm not gonna be your yes man even though you paid me. Because at the end of the day we're both trying to win.
right.
So the ultimate goal is doing that. And whether we agree or disagrees on way, we're getting honesty and we're getting truth. And that's the quickest way to get to the bottom of every solution, is just get the truths out. And then we're grown. We talk about compromises, or not even compromises, but just how to get on the same page once we find where we disagree or where we agree and stuff like that. Um, so definitely when I got the job, I thought it was gonna be a lot of work, and I was ready for it. And obviously when I got in it, I was like, well, I wasn't expecting this. I was I already put a bunch of time into the off season. That's probably my busier time. I'm staying up till 5, 6 a.m. because that's when players want to play. Um, hint, hint, we need to fix that somehow in the community, but probably not. Um, so in a previous interview, people be like, how much I watch. Um, I watch about probably 6, 7, maybe even 8 hours a day. And if I happen to fall asleep on a game, I'm waking up even before this meeting. I'm waking up and either rewatching the game that I fell asleep on, or I've already watched it just to get another look. So my phone's always almost dead, or whatever I'm on's always almost dead, because I have a 2K game playing. I try not to let people see my screen and be like, what is this guy watching all day on his phone? But um, so I do that. So it's a lot of work. It's a lot of lonely hours. You could say, like, you're not working with people, so you really have to be dedicated and buckle down and focus.
Yeah, I mean, like on the surface, there's a glamorous allure and mystique that comes with being a scout or a coordinator or someone helping in the front office in the 2K league. But man, it's not just a grind that happens before you get to position. The real grind, like
When
you're
you
just
get
kind of
in,
describing, happens now, right? So
yes.
that's unreal. That's crazy for all you aspiring scouts out there. I mean, 7, 8 hours is a like if you're under
It's a
that, then
shift.
you're not with
It's
Matt
a
over
real
here.
world. Yeah, it's a real world shift.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Um, I'm fairly new to the pro am scene. Like I finally immersed myself in this space last year, season
Yeah.
4 pre-draft, after jumping into the NBA 2K League season 3 really full time. So I have a small sample size for comparison, Matt. But this year, it seems like there's an influx of people taking on a scouting role or a coaching role for these pre-draft teams. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, my thoughts, honestly, even though we're all competitors at the end of the day and we individually want to win, I love it, man. For people that other scouts or trying to get in my position or anything like that, even though I'm trying to be better than you at the end of the
Mhm.
day, I do want to see you succeed too. It's just a great feeling to see everybody growing in this industry. Um, it's great to see that we're kind of getting like a farm system for coaching and scouting, just like just last year we were talking about the farm system for players. Um, So to see that we kind of fix the farm system of players on how they get in the league and stuff like that, we're addressing that. We're also addressing the farm system on the other side of
Right.
the industry, as far as in the offices and stuff like that, giving people chances and letting people in, so more people like me and stuff can give other people knowledge on how to move and how to do things, rather than just the big names like the Famouses, the Comps, the Kurtz, because those guys are really busy. If you
Hmm.
thought I might be busy with 7, 8 hours, just imagine what Wes, Fame, and all those guys got going on.
Hmm.
So the fact that we get a chance and we're able to shed that knowledge to other people helps the system on both sides of players and the office.
For sure. It's growth at the end of the day, whether it's coming from the players, uh, quote unquote front office staffs of these pre-draft teams. It's good to see, and the growth has just been exponential, it seems, in the last couple of months. And maybe, just maybe, it's tied in a little bit with the second reason why we're here today and why we've brought you on. But let's finally talk about UPA, Matt. Unified Pro-Am Association. We were talking a little bit before the show. I've seen you a lot in the chat during some of the more recent broadcasts, and even chats and streams that aren't affiliated with UPA. You're always in there. Obviously, you're very aware of what the UPA is doing, and just as a scout, even UPA holding its second ever world championship. This time the setting is Las Vegas, and the best players in the world are going to be playing for a ridiculous amount, $50,000. First off, yeah, what were your initial thoughts upon hearing that announcement a couple weeks ago?
I love it. We keep improving the system and the farm systems of this profession. As far as when you just joined in a year ago, you was probably hearing the problems of what league matters. This league matter? Does this league matter? I just won this one and nobody's talking about it.
Right.
So the fact that UPA and the guys connected with a whole bunch of leagues to essentially say these are the leagues that matter, and we won't overlap them. So everybody has the chance to get in these big purses. So when you get those tweets, how do I join the league? How do I get noticed? I just won this, but nobody paid attention. Well, the easiest solution to that is 3 letters: UPA. It has the biggest purse. It has the biggest events. It's probably going to have the biggest views. And then the fact that we're even turning it even more to a profession of where we're going to land for the finals. It's saying all eyes on me, all eyes right here. This is the place you need to be. This is the biggest stage in the off season. This is what everybody wants to see. This is what you play off season for. This is what you work towards. So even if you don't even make the league, like we talk about the guys that aren't even eligible yet, you spring break, it happens or something like that, and that's the championship, and you see a 15-year-old on stage outplaying everybody. You're like, who is this kid? I mean, is he ready yet? Is he 18 yet? So it definitely satisfies everybody, as far as people going for the league and people preparing for the league as well. That it's just saying this is the place you need to be. This is what you need to join. This is what off season does. This is the payoff where a lot of people play, and essentially if they don't make the league, they think it's all for nothing. Now there's a lot of money in this where it's not for nothing. You could definitely make some good cash.
Right.
That all those hours that you sacrifice will definitely result into some revenue if you lock in.
Yeah, and the extra cash is super nice, and it also, you're already playing for something, but it's a little different when you're playing for $50,000. So unreal. Couldn't have said it any better. I think we're at that point now. We'll come back to the UPA, Matt, but I think we're at that point in the show now where, as someone like yourself who has scouted the NBA 2K League professionally, let's put your expertise to use here. What are some of the things for our listeners? What are some of the things you look for during pre-draft from each of the 5 positions?
So like I said previous, I've been in this around and talking to players and stuff like that for 6 years. So as far as playing and playing against, I get a sense of these kids' personality and how they've grown up, what they need to fix, what they don't, just amongst themselves, not even playing wise.
Mhm.
obviously it's easy to see who are the top players every year in a sense of who's succeeding and stuff like that. So you always make those notes. But the biggest key and the things I look for is obviously I tell everybody, and I know other couple scouts um, encourage you to put your mic on or allow your voice, because
Hmm.
if I don't know you, and let's say our coach doesn't know you, he might not talk to you until the interview process. And most of those guys are just going to tell you what you want to hear. So if I get to hear your voice through heated games, close games, monies with things on the line, and you might not know I'm watching, I get a sense of the real you. I get a sense of your personality.
Hmm.
I get a sense of, we have this Rucker Park on Saturdays of
Mhm.
10th. I get a sense of how you act towards your friends, towards how you act to a player that you never played with, but you're competing on the same team. In those situations you will encounter in the league where Dave Five spoke about the other day that the only person he knew on his team or met in person was Reese, just because he was returning, and then everybody else he had to meet all over again. So the thing I look for in 1 through 5 is personality, and how you talk to your teammates. How do you react when they're telling you you made a bad decision? Are you always right? Are you always wrong? In those situations, can you stay level-headed? Can you stay locked in? And so those things I look for most, because when you're in this, you're going to know who the good players are. People are going to talk. They're going to be on the front page. They're going to be the last ones playing at every event. The views are going to follow the best players.
Mhm.
So scouts obviously will have their preference on who's better, in the tops. But the real key is that sense of personality without actually meeting them, how they react in games, how a teammate talks to them when they're playing bad, when they're playing good. When the pressure's on, are they going to fold? Are they going to live it up? Are they uplifting other people that are playing bad? Or are they um, adding on to playing bad, as in not getting that teammate out the hole? So those things I really look for in every position.
That's fascinating stuff, and what it's funny because based off what I'm hearing from you, what I have been seeing during last year's pre-draft, and I'm starting to kind of see now, it's not just what they're doing on the game, right? You had mentioned you want to kind of find out who they are as a person, their real self. Part of that formula comes with, or part of that formula makes up their brand, quote unquote, their brand.
Yes.
When it comes to branding opportunities, I feel I'm not biased when I say this. I know UPA has really opened up a new lane for the pro-am community with all these tournaments, right? You
They
have
have.
the 15K fall tournament, for example. Forget even Vegas, free trips to Dallas being paid for. And then, of course, you have the Vegas locale, let alone the money, the world title. How can players take advantage of these events to enhance their own brand so that they're sticking out to scouts like yourself?
Well, like you've seen, especially on Twitter, with the guy famous encouraging content, content,
Mm-hmm.
content.
Mm-hmm.
And just like Champ was talking about and other players were talking about, in the off season, their revenue might change as far as you're not getting league anymore. Well, if you want more money, the brand is the perfect way to go. The content is the perfect way to go. And for people that's really succeeding, where you like saw Bear step on the analyst stage and succeeded, and you see Spam doing TikTok or something like that, or you see Dave Fry doing Bubble Talk, your brand gets big enough. And we talk about the league and the contracts and stuff, your brand gets big enough, soon you're going to be competing with that 6 month salary where you're like, hey, in the league and out the league, my money's kind of looking the same. The organization's going to need to pay me more because maybe my brand alone is getting bigger than the play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so brand definitely does matter, and it definitely does help the organizations where it gets more people to watch. I mean, I just saw a picture from one of my favorite coaches, Nick, from the Minnesota Timberwolves. He posted that, he was texting a girl to vote for Kai. So, like he's reaching out to everybody he can, getting
That's
those
great.
votes in. So definitely the brand of where you bring people that might not even know this profession in to watch or to interact to get votes and stuff like that is essentially good for the brand, good for the league. Because if you could say, hey, I bring a 2,500 views to your organization or to this game alone by myself, it's a pretty big thing in this industry because people want to watch you. Like you say, I'm watching personality more because um, in this off season, let's just call it what it is. When you're one of the top players or you're competing to be a professional, the moves essentially and the gameplay, everybody should already know at this level.
Mhm.
When you want to become a professional, you should already know these things. Even though shout out to 2K Labs and Harris and them, they're teaching moves in the 2K Labs. So shout out to them guys. But in this profession, when you're trying to go for that, these moves are essentially already known, or you should know if you want to be a professional gamer in this thing. So it's the other stuff that can help you
Mhm.
um, push yourself over that edge on calls and picks and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's the bar is really high, and I just kind of wanted to, touch on how being a competitive NBA 2K player doesn't just have to happen in that 2K league window. It can be a year-round thing, and we're definitely starting to kind of see that. Um, Pivoting from that to another topic, we kind of talked a little bit about Dallas, Vegas. Is it Is it one thing to kind of scout online and through Twitch, and is it another monster to scout live events? Like, would you end up putting more stock in an in-person event, and why not?
Absolutely. Live events are the most important thing because essentially the first two seasons of the league were live events until the
Mhm.
crazy pandemic happened and stuff. That was the norm of live events. And essentially those are going to be the biggest purses anyway, are live events. So that is essentially the standard or the baseline or the goal you want to get to. So for scouts and coaches and stuff like that to prepare for or essentially find out these things, we want to see how those players adapt to land. And when you're playing online in the off season, usually you're playing in the comfort of your home with your friends every time. Not in the league is a different that you might not be their friend off rip, so it's somebody you're just meeting and you're playing with them. But in the off season, you're so comfortable. You're down seven, maybe laughing with the guys, joking and stuff like that. So to be out of it and then you're on stage where you could hear the other team when you throw a turnover yell at you, and you probably never been yelled at like that before. And it's definitely you could see the game change when you throw a turnover and the other team's yelling at you,
Mhm.
and maybe you hear that friend that you was giggling with online suck his lips and give you that bad energy and make you even play more worse or something like that. So those things are really what you need to key on in LAN events where like how are because most of these guys are very young, or
Mhm.
like I said, we're waiting for them to be eligible. We're waiting as soon as they turn 18 and stuff like that, and they're grinding so hard that they're not really interacting person to person a lot. It's always online. So it to be, I don't want to say hostile environment. I think it's bad, but let's say an intense environment when a lot of money's on the line, that you make a bad play. I'm looking at your teammates to see how they rally you, or JBM said it best when he won the finals as far as body language and how you read a person on that stage. If I see you put your head down, when you're making bad plays and you can't really get out of it, it's really going to result into more bad play.
Mhm.
And the other team is going to feed off that and target you on the other side and just keep it continuing and stuff like that. So land is definitely essential because when you're playing for 250,000, like they were just doing and stuff like that, you make a bad play on that stage and people reacting to you, people cheering for you, people cheering against you, I still need you to be on your A game. That's what we pay you for at the end of the day. So definitely LAN events is 100% more important. Obviously consistency wants to be there on and off, but usually if you're performing in the comfort of your home and you could perform in intense environments too, is a definitely good thing to be able to do.
That's awesome. We've got at Matt Morg underscore Hawks Talon GC in the building here with us. I'm at 101 Kris. This is UPA one on one. Um, do you like if you had to choose one, would you end up gravitating more towards the player who talks trash at an elite tier level and can back it up, or the player who says very little but still lets his game do the talking?
I need the trash talker, because just because that's another X factor of the way you can change the game. You know, the guy's just going to keep doing his thing and keep producing, but that talk could essentially be a factor that other teams don't have. It brings an edge. It brings another factor or another tool you can use to win. If it's good trash talk and stuff like that. So obviously, I love to see the passion in that. I love to see the energy. And just like we talk about vibes, health, or anything like that, positively is contagious. So if my teammate is essentially talking trash to the other team and we're winning, that's my lifting up my play. That's
Mhm.
lifting up the other guy's play. We're getting more confidence. We're feeling good. We're about to go on this 2K momentum run, that 2K loves to do.
Just two more questions, Matt, before we let you go here. I love what you said about the trash talking, though. Trash talking is a skill. There's elite levels to it, because some people trash talk and it takes themselves out of the
It's an
game. Like
X factor. It definitely brings another dynamic to the game.
for sure, for sure. Some people are just so elite at it, and it's obviously, as a fan, just watching from the outside, super
It's way more
entertaining.
entertaining. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
With how the UPA is set up, Matt, we've got three leagues working hand in hand. You had mentioned that a little bit earlier in the interview. Obviously, that being WR Pro Am League, MPBA, and the ADBA. There are leagues, tournaments happening all the time, which is great for the players, right? It gives everyone the reps that they need. It gives, aspiring prospects as many opportunities to kind of put themselves in the spotlight, and maybe even get an advantage at UPA Worlds. But as a scout, man, I'd imagine it gets, even with it just kind of finally being condensed, still as a scout, I'd imagine it gets a little bit tricky to keep track of everything at this time of the year.
Well, Twitter's a handy thing of following people, and we're getting to a better space where guys are posting content on YouTube where the videos are always saved. Um, but really, notifications is a good thing as far as you put noties on when people tweet and stuff like that, and you have your list of players that you follow. Like I told you, I'm watching 8 hours of 2K basketball, which is crazy because I need to do something else.
That's a
It's
lot.
only so many hours in the day. But when you're doing that and you're following players, I might have 3 games up at once. And the fact that they're on YouTube or some need to be subscribed to or stuff like that. If I'm watching 3 games at night and I'm like, Breakout in the Ville just played or something like that, and I missed it because like you said, so much is going on that I'm watching other 4 great games. Um, I got to check that one out too because I got to do my due diligence. So I either catch it when I wake up or I catch it on the back burner, but I don't miss games. They all need to be watched because every player brings a different dynamic or can be. And the thing about that is every player is jumping their own hurdle in every matchup as far
Mhm.
as where they're at. As far as like you say, their brand and how they're a top player or becoming to be a top player. So every matchup for each player is always different because they might be achieving something else. Are they continuing consistency of being good? Are they emerging? Are they finally breaking a barrier of Final Four or stuff like that? So every player has their own journey. It's not just you win this, you're the best. Every player um, has their own journey as far as when they're going to become good or when they're going to become elite. So I have to watch a lot of people.
It's a wild, wild schedule, man. I admire you for it. Final question of the interview. Um, I'd imagine it's different for everyone. I totally get that, Matt. But for you, can you kind of walk us through, I don't know, a general idea of your scouting process? So, for example, from the first moment you discover a player, right? Maybe you don't know too much about this person, and then you decide, okay, I want to watch more of this guy. How does that process begin for you?
I could give you a Pacific, and we could reference UPA alone in Dallas. Just last year there was a guy that was competing in post draft for point guard named Gallinari that really jumped on the scene. A lot of people didn't know about, and he came around post draft, and then he shows up to Dallas, and he's kind of doing his thing. Um, so just like that, and I refer to Reg a lot when he came on the scene that he did it in post draft, and then he followed it up with doing it when the big dogs come back.
Mhm.
Like the big dogs was in the league watching him play, like, oh, this kid's not that good. Wait until I come back. Wait until I come back. You know? So to see him just jump on the scene and play on that stage for the money. Obviously, I wasn't there, but to see it and see how he performed definitely put him on my radar. Where it's like I need to look at him. You know, we need to follow his path. Same thing for Span 101.
Mhm.
You know, he just built that big brand, but obviously, I don't think he's going to be eligible this year. It's like I just told you, we waiting on these guys to be eligible. You 18 yet? You 18? You know, you 18 yet? You know, I'm waiting till you turn that of age. You know, we're like Hawks. We're waiting on that. So to see Gallinari perform in Dallas, you know, I tweeted at him. I think after he lost in Dallas, like he's an up and coming star. I can't wait to see what he does when the big dogs come back. So I believe he just played. I believe he just beat Farewell, which is Reds that I was talking about. I think I'd have to go back into my notes, but to see he upsetted a big team like that shows he's on the right track of where he's just not a 1 year wonder, or he's competing when the skill isn't there. He's following it up with progression, and that's all you look for in these players, especially when they're up and coming like that.
Mhm.
Is progression. Every level has a difficulty. So when the big dogs come back, obviously the difficulty becomes bigger. And I want to see you. Maybe you don't have to win the whole thing this year, but you know you beat a couple good teams that people might not thought you could beat this year, and then I see you start. You know, you go from Elite Eights this year to Final Fours next year, and then the next year you go to winning it. Obviously, we want to see progression and consistency. We want to see you elevating every year from not getting any revenue to generating revenue. So that's what I look for in big players, up and coming players. I specifically look for those star-studded matchups because when you're up and coming, when I was up and coming, when I go up against a breakout, or you went up against now Phantom Troop and stuff like that, when you're an up and coming player, this game is everything to you. It's
Mhm.
everything right now. It's probably the biggest game you got because once you win it, people are going to start to know your name. Like, who beat those guys? So that pressure added onto a new player that they probably never had can either fold them or excel them. And those things you really need to look at, because if you can't handle that type of pressure, I mean, just imagine you on stage paying for $250. The guys Nudini, They Fry, Opera yelling at you. That pressure is even higher. So when I, talk to players like our very own point guard C's when he was coming up, I was very hard on him. Like, can you do it again? Can you do it without, the rookie 630 with you? Can you, it wasn't to drag them, it's to push those guys. It's to give them more pressure, because I know when you get to the league, any pressure I put on you is not enough for the money you're playing for.
Right.
So I'm only pushing them to see their limits and how far they can go. And then we work on those limits once we pass or fail and stuff like that.
Matt, man, you're a super cool dude. This is the first time we've gotten a chance to kind of really do this and have a chat. I really, truly appreciate you and the Hawks Talon GC organization for giving us the time today. Like I mentioned, we always put the spotlight on the players, and rightfully so. They make up our community, but you and the scouting and the scout/front offices, you guys all work so hard to put together the products that you guys do. So thank you for showing out, man.
Appreciate you, Kris. I'm a big fan. I remember when you was jumping on the scene, chatting with Ye and doing your thing, just coming up. Got a lot of guys, big fans of Joe and them. So not only helping us out, you guys do your thing with helping us out as well. And being a part of UPA, y'all are doing a big thing over there. Hopefully you get to the event this time with Vegas, or
Yeah.
we meet up and we see each other person to person and stuff like that and have good times.
For sure, man. I cannot wait. As always, guys, we appreciate you for watching or listening. If you haven't already, make sure you're following at Unified Pro-Am on all socials so you can check it off, right? That's Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. Bookmark unifiedproam.gg, the website, for all the latest updates as we get closer and closer to not only Vegas UPA Worlds for 50K, but also the return trip to Dallas, the 15K Fall Series. The best in the world will ultimately converge in on Las Vegas in late January of 2022. We'll be competing at the HyperX Arena for $50,000. Man, if you guys think you can hang with the best in the world, register for an online event today. On behalf of Matt of Hawks Talon GC, I'm Kris Cuaresma, and this was One on One brought to you by the Unified Pro-Am Association.